A very good morning to you. I hope you're still enjoying the holidays. A Merry Christmas once again. My name is Dakbo Aruwajoye. Today we thought we should continue with what we started yesterday because it says safety is always first. And that's why we're taking safety and security again today. We discussed yesterday the takeover of the Sambisa forest. And apparently we'll look at that today because the president said in a speech when he received some people for the Federal Capital Territory that I assure you that this country and the people are always uppermost in our minds. Our performance in the Northeast, with the performance in the Northeast, Nigerians will know that the government is very serious. So we take it from there. And to help us do the discussion, I have Mr. Barrister Tony Ofoyeton, DG International Institute of Professional Security. Thank you very much for joining us, Barrister.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
Happy New
to
Year
you.
in advance.
Yes. I know the news, the takeover of Sambisa, to you is a very good news. And to many Nigerians, most especially the governor of Borno State, Shetima, he said that happened is the most valuable present ever since he had become a governor of Borno State. What's your own take?
Like you said, of course, we all look forward to the end of insurgency. We all look forward to the end of terrorism under whatever guise, and that's actually our utmost prayer. We are happy that the president came all out to say that we have taken over Sambisa Forest, except for the fact that proactively we now expect, one, the sustenance of the takeover. You know, one thing about terrorism is that when you capture a particular territory, you have to stay there. You have to be in charge all through until you ensure that all pockets of terrorists that are spread all over are also well taken care of. And don't forget that the taking over of Sambisa Forest is not the end of terrorism. I'm sure you would have also seen that immediately after the president declared that Boko Haram is as good as non-existent,
Technically defeated.
Technically defeated or else extinct. As it were now, the little days later, we saw the the bombing in Borno State, the same Borno State. We've seen several killings in Kaduna and some other states, and even spreading all over. Like we brought to the attention of especially the security agencies that look. Don't forget that they are human beings. Sambisa Forest is meant for animals, so to say, once you use the word forest. So wherever they are, there is also temporary. They would also have, backup plans. They have plan B, plan C.
Yes.
And the essence of that is that the security agencies themselves must always be a step ahead, and not to the extent of, giving you the impression that, okay, take over Sambisa Forest. We are tired. We want to leave Sambisa Forest. So you can as well take over Sambisa Forest.
Just like that.
Yes, just like that. And why, if they play into the hands of the strategic plan of the terrorists, there's nothing to celebrate about. There's absolutely nothing to celebrate about. But if it is actually a situation where they still remain there, but to me, as far as I'm concerned, terrorism has spread all over the country, and that's one thing I've been saying.
Okay.
And that's one thing I've also said that I'm foreseeing a situation where the government should come all out to be able to deal with terrorism. It's a holistic approach. It's not just a military approach only.
Okay.
You have the social political aspect of it. You have the social cultural aspect of it. You have the core economic aspect of it.
We'll talk more about that because you're taking us to where I'm meant to go later. But let's quickly look at the fact that they said they penetrated Sambisa Forest from all fronts. What about the fact that now they've reached Camp Zero or Ground Zero? They've not seen the girls. Because I asked the gentleman yesterday, what do you think is the fate of these ladies? What do you think is the fate of the ladies?
No, you see, the ladies are not even in Sambisa Forest. I can bet that they are not anywhere near anywhere called forest. And I won't be shocked if they are just in custody of one of their sponsors, one of their main protagonists, even in town.
But the pictures we used to see
yes,
then,
that is
when analyzed, they say it's a forest.
No, there's what we call psychological operations in security. What PsyOps does is to give the adversary a wrong information to work upon. Is to create a wrong scenario. It's as good as the military coming out to say that we have 10 pump actions. Meanwhile, they may have 1,000 pump actions. Now, it doesn't make any difference. But the main thing is that you want to make sure that your adversary works with the wrong information. And don't forget that intelligence is a product of information. That is the end result of information. So if the source of your information is defective, that means that the end result, which is the intelligence, will be absolutely defective and wrong. And that is one thing that is applied and used by security agencies and also terrorist organizations. So don't worry about all those information and the like, that they are in one bush in Sambisa forest and all those stuff like that. No terrorist will give you the exact location of the abducted girls. Forget about that. And don't forget that terrorists are liars. So it's not a matter of you believing what they say and all those things. In short, those ones should be inconsequential. It's not a consideration ordinary in the war against terrorism.
So we cannot work with that.
Yes, you can't work with that. You have to source for your own information. You have to get your own information. You have to also make sure that the information you get are authentic. And you now, it is when you are sure that they are authentic that you now go through the processing that data or information to become what you call intelligence.
So what do you think now? Do you think we can still get these girls together?
No, you know, I forecast that sometime next year, I see a situation where, you know, they most likely may be released. It could be all, it could be parts. Yes, basically for political purposes. The first set of girls that were released, there was the contention of whether money was released, whether it was done in exchange of some of the and all those stuff like that.
Prisoners.
Yes, and prisoners and all those stuff like that. I foresee most likely the middle of next year a repetition of such for political purpose. Whatever it costs, I envisage that the government will want to say, okay, if for any reason, if this will give us a political point, you know, let us use this, since this is what Nigerians are asking for, Nigerians are yearning for, and all those stuff like that. Whatever it costs, give it to them. It will give us political.
But since you mentioned political now, do you think the opposition, that the PDP now will still, okay, let me rephrase it. Do you think the opposition, some people that never believe what is happening, they believe it's charade, they believe it never happened, the abduction of the girls never happened, what do you think will be running in their minds now? Okay, these guys have started acting another script. Is that what you think is happening?
No, you know, one thing is, I've always said it severally, that when you mix security with politics, whatever you get, whatever result you get, don't complain. And that is the unfortunate part that would actually befall the government.
Or is it why this war ran for like 7 years? Because of
not ran, it's running.
It's running.
It's running. Because as it is now, Boko Haram is metamorphosing. It's metamorphosing. You have the Fulani cattle herdsmen there. The havoc they have committed within a short space of time is half of the havoc that Boko Haram have committed within 5 years.
Wow.
And these are things that we must really be very agitated about. So, but like I said, when you mix politics with security, you can't get it right. Not because our guys in the military are not good. They are very good. Very good. And I stand to be corrected anytime. If you ask our military boys to ask them to say, go, fish them out door by door, house by house, it will shock you that within 3 months, there will be nothing like suicide bombing in Nigeria.
That is if politics is not involved.
Very well.
We'll continue the conversation,
well.
Tony.
Yeah.
We need to go on the shop, and we'll come back. A lot to be discussed. Don't go anywhere, please. Welcome back. I still have Barrister Tony Ofoyeton. Even when we went to break, the conversation was still going on. And where we stopped was, why is it that we don't value lives? Okay, let's talk about how to avoid such. What really happened? Talking about this madness. Talking about this Boko Haram madness. How it started, really. Is it not the way these Fulani headsmen have started, or the way, or if you get to what I mean, because we never really knew. Okay, when what's his name, Mohammed was killed there extrajudicially, we never knew this would degenerate into all this.
Just like what is happening
to
with
El-Zakzaky and other people also. How do we avoid all this?
Well, I think social justice is one solution. One major solution. Every ethnic group in this country is calling for justice, and they are all absolutely right. I repeat, they are all absolutely right.
I mean, IPOB is right?
Now listen.
And the Niger Delta militants also?
There is rightness in all their actions. The wrong part of it is the approach. Is the approach. Now, if you say, I want to leave Nigeria, a responsible government calls this group to say, why do you want to leave? And we don't have a sense of belonging. How? We don't have this, we don't have this, we don't have this. They itemize 10 things. You say, okay, out of that 10, feasibly, we can do 2 now. The state is a continuous state. Over the years, it could be 50 years, we will do the rest 8. You see, you have pacified that group. Are you there with me?
Yes.
You have pacified that group. You go to Niger Delta, what is the problem? We have 100 items on ground that makes us feel uncomfortable in this country. Out of those 100, sorry, we can only do 5 for now. And you did it, and they saw it. Look, we are human beings. No human being has permanent life except the country.
Yes.
It's a generation going and coming. Unfortunately, rather than handing over positivity, we are handing over bitterness. We are handing over anger. We are handing over negative history to our children unborn. And that is why you see that even after the execution of the Ogoni 9,
Yes.
the Niger Delta region is still restive.
Yes.
Even after the Biafra war, today you are still talking of Masop. Look, if we don't attend to it once, the best way to conquer your fear is to face the fear. The best way to conquer. What are we afraid of in this country? That's one thing we must really look at. Social justice. Let every ethnic group have the sense of belonging.
So the Fulani headsmen, they've not really come out to say, okay,
Now,
the alleged Fulani headsmen, they've not come out to say this is what they want.
That's a different ball game entirely. Now, why is it different? Because they have crossed from their territorial boundaries. Are you there with me? To other ethnic groups.
But some people are saying most of these, looking at the modus operandi, most of these headsmen are members of Boko Haram. Is it possible?
No, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Now, the problem with the Fulani headsmen is that apart from the fact that they are most likely members of Boko Haram, majority of them are not Nigerians. And the Minister of Agri came all out to say they are not Nigerians. Now, if they are not Nigerians,
what are they doing in Nigeria?
What are they doing in Nigeria? Now, if you are aware that they are not Nigerians, why are you trying to make laws to encourage them by talking about grazing beef, for example? That is one. What is the Immigration Service doing to ensure that Nigerians, that we have at least a similitude of an identification to show that you are a Nigerian?
Yes.
Are you there with me?
Yes.
Now, what is the National Data Bank? Do we have any? I asked a simple question, and I kept asking that question almost every now and then, that the malams or people that sell cucumber, sweet, all those things within your neighborhood, yes, if they commit a crime, what is his name?
Do you know that?
Do you know where? If he runs away, how do you get him? If he rapes your little baby in your compound while selling sweets in front of your house and runs away, how do you trace him?
And even that because that
are you there with me?
It takes us to.
Now you see that it's not just a forest thing alone. right in the city.
Right in the city, you said, because even in Ikorodu of recent, the Buratai himself confirmed that a member of Boko Haram was found or arrested in Ikorodu. We were lucky. We recognized that, or they recognized that, or maybe they've trailed him.
That
How do
was
we
the
know
one
the new
they
ones?
successfully apprehended.
So there might be many around us.
That's the one they successfully apprehended. The young man that came into Lagos State, in few months, if he was not arrested, in maybe 1 or 2 weeks later, he ended up becoming an Okada rider. He rides Okada until the chain of command says it's time to act. Until the chain of command says, go here, go here. Look, let me tell you something. Do you know that these people you call Nigerians, Cameroonians, Chadians that ride Okada they know the geographical spread of Nigeria to streets more than even Nigerians themselves.
I know.
They know every nook and cranny of this country. One, is not good for national security. That is one thing we must understand. It's absolutely wrong for national security for you to allow foreigners to have the freedom to go to every nook and cranny of your country.
Just like that.
Just like that.
And they even make money from the country. They are not taxed. They are not questioned.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, the government is not ready to fight terrorism. They see these people as political tools. That peradventure we want to go into politics, or it's time for politics, we will use them. They are much, they will vote for us. They are much, they can constitute political thuggery for us. They are much, so many other political considerations, which is not helping the country.
Okay.
Because as it is now, the country is sitting on such dynamite.
Okay,
if that dynamite explodes, we don't have the numerical strength of security agencies to be able to curtail. Take, for example, if your vehicle runs into any Okada, or an Okada rider runs into your vehicle, and you are trying to scold that Okada rider within 1 minute, which is just 60 seconds, you would have seen 10 of them. In another 60 seconds, there will be 40.
And
they are not interested in whether their colleague is wrong or right. All they are interested in, there's a communal protective policy.
And which is dangerous.
But our security agencies are aware of it.
So
our government are aware of it.
But
what are they doing?
Because if you say the government is aware, really, even Alhaji Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information, has said we should be our brother's keeper. How do we help ourselves? Because they are aware, since these people have been displaced in Sambisa and the northeastern part of the country, they might find their ways into places like Lagos easily. And you know, Lagos is all welcoming.
No man's land.
No man's land. You come to Lagos today, you can be an Okada rider tomorrow. Even if you don't know where you are going to, the guy will tell you, Ikeja, okay, just go straight. Tomorrow you will find out where Ikeja is. So what do we do as individuals?
There are many things that the government can do. Number one is the fact that the government need to look at the possibility of having a true national database. You have to talk of the issue of national ID card, not the corrupted national ID card. Yes, it's also a good one. We have to talk of the possibility of an e-world. E-world in that where you have a card that is knitted to all your transactions like is done in developed countries. That's a good one. Then, of course, the issue of religion, which many see as sensitive, and it doesn't make any difference because that happens to also be the source and the major central point for terrorism.
Yes.
Now, you should not allow people to sleep in religious places for more than 1 week. If you want to go on vigil, you want to go on camping at a stretch, as far as I'm concerned, should not be more than 1 week. You can come back in another 1 month.
So the security agents has to be going to the churches or the mosques.
Yes,
then.
The reason is this. You see, these people you say come from Sambisa Forest and they like, go, where do they stay? They stay in mosques. They stay in mosque with all apology. And it's basically, but the imam don't know their mindset. He doesn't know what they have at the back of their mind. Are you there with me? But once they just say that, we are your brother, as far as they are concerned, you are free to. But it should be for a definite period of time because it's called a worship center, not a religious, not a residential center.
And the government should look inward into that very seriously.
So you make them uncomfortable?
Yes.
So we need to go on yet another break.
Wow.
And when we come back, we will talk more.
No problem.
Stay with us, please. Welcome back, and joining the discussion we have another gentleman, Oluwarotimi Adeleye, Executive Secretary Ifako Ijaye, the former Executive Secretary of Ifako Ijaye LCDA local government. Thank you very much, and Communication Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much for joining us. Before you join the conversation, we're talking about looking at the ripple effect of the invasion of Sambisa Forest, and the Burate himself has confirmed that they even caught a member of Boko Haram in Ikorodu, which is in Lagos. How do we avoid such happening? And with the fact that we have a neighborhood watch, Lagos State Neighborhood Watch security outfit, how can they help to make all these people uncomfortable? Because Tony have mentioned the fact that we have Nigerians, we have people from other countries in our country, and they are not questioned or checked, mate. What do you think?
Dakwa, thank you. I think the issue of security, it has come to time where we have to take it holistically. And that is away from even Sambisa. We have to begin to narrow down and zero in on our own immediate community. How well are we handling it? Because ever before the advent of Boko Haram, you know, it wasn't as if there are no security threats, but we weren't waking up to it. But now that we have something on our hands to handle, then that calls for quite a large, lots of issues coming up with it.
So the preventive measures, we are lacking the preventive measures.
Of course, yes. And however, let me say that it is something that we have to really praise the government of Lagos State. I don't believe that it takes the surveillance of the state government coming over there late night, because they find out that all sort of
miscreants,
I'm telling you, comes in. They are not northerners. The kinds of mistake we make is that all of these people, we group them and call them northerners. They are not all northerners. We have Nigerians among them. We have Malians among them.
Yes.
All sort of, you know, and when we see them, in fact, some of them now operate Okada. When you stop them and speak normal Hausa language to them, you find that they can't communicate in Hausa language. So, but we, you know, randomly take them for northerners. So it was when Lagos State government saw that this is becoming very rampant, they had to come over to that site to clear them up, all the Ashantis. And that actually put a very good credit on the support the Lagos State, His Excellency, the Lagos State governor is giving to the police. Over time now, because of my position, each time I drive across that place around the late hours of the day, I find out that there are a few policemen trying to, you know, station themselves there to make sure they don't come back. And apart from that, lots and lots of issues like that, it is the responsibility of the government to come up, even at local government level, where we come up to now begin to educate the citizenry. Because what we see, we have this lackadaisical attitude in this part of the world. We don't really give our time to doing analysis, being conscious, until when things happen. Sometimes even when those things happen, you find people come up the location to snap pictures, and what have you. It is because we trivialize them until when they come on us. And so this is the time, particularly this youth-time period, to educate, sensitize our people as to how they can be conscious of the security around the environment. I see people, I tell people, I think we were in a discussion yesterday, and I was telling a guy that each time you move, you don't need to announce your location on Facebook.
Yes.
If you're saying I'm checking into,
Yes,
I'm
checking
checking into America, the person, the Boko Haram person or whoever that is going to attack your vicinity knows that you're not at home.
Yeah, you're not at home, yeah.
So we know what to do and the strategy. So, you know, there are a few security tips that we have to take cognizance of, that we have to learn, such that we can keep our environment safe.
And again, he mentioned that we don't even have a database. And Lagos, I know Lagos State was trying this LASRA, I forgot the Lagos Residency, I've forgotten what it's called.
Yeah.
Really, we need to.
We call it LASRA.
Yeah, LASRA, thank you. Because I was thinking, if you want to come to Lagos, it's acceptable. You can come to Lagos. But for you to get your car down the road, you should have a card registered by the state government, get paid. I mean, you pay your tax, because I'm not sure Okada riders pay. Maybe they pay, I don't know. But they should have a form of identification. Maybe like a number on their Okada, or the people selling, what's it called, watermelon by the roadside. They should have a card. We know you are registered in Lagos.
Yeah, that is really essential. And it is only that time that they will know who are the ones that are riding the Okada. I tell you, some instances has happened where Okada will, you know, take its passenger, take them off
The route.
the route. And before you know it, you know, you'll get to hear several other news coming up thereafter that there's a dead body somewhere. It's been accosted by maybe ritualists and what have you. However, it is essential at this moment, at least at a time like this, that we call on both local government and state level that the issue of that LASTRA has to be, well, Lagos State government now, each time they want to administer a particular issue or the other, they usually request
for the card.
But we should go to the level of making sure that even those Okada riders have it. If you are a resident in Lagos, we must know you.
Maybe after Lagos has really concluded or really mastered it, maybe the federal government should even emulate such. I have Sam Ali on the line. Good morning, Sam Ali. Hello, Sam Ali. Good morning.
Yes, I have an advice to give.
Okay.
Sustaining the takeover of Sambisa Forest. I hope what happened to Nigeria in 1969 during the Civil War, Owerri was overrun by the federal troops. For a month, they could not move. Owerri was later overtaken by the Biafra. What the federal government did was to overhaul the commandership position. That was when Adekunle was replaced by Obasanjo. So if the federal government has to be on the watch out. If there are saboteurs among the rank and file, those who overrun Sambisa Forest, they have to be replaced so that new hands rather will take over.
Okay.
So that we will sustain the momentum which we have achieved now.
Okay.
I did kudos to our gallant forces.
Okay.
And those who paid the supreme sacrifice, we have to be compensated.
All right, and thank you so much, Sam Ali. And again, because let's take a look at Sambisa Forest itself. Afterwards, what should be done? Because Burate himself, the chief of army staff, has said that the Sambisa Forest will now be turned to a military base. Apparently, we had a military structure inside Sambisa Forest before, because in the 80s, it was the camp for the guards, National Guards. So now, do you think that should be an ASAP thing? The military should just take over once and for all?
Well, there's nothing wrong in the military taking over. But we must understand that terrorism needn't come from Sambisa Forest. Sambisa Forest is not, it's not as if it is compulsory.
That they have to be there.
That they have to be there. They needn't be there.
It's not the assembly point.
No, at all. In short, it can, you remember when America came to say that Sheraton Hotel was, they were meeting in Sheraton. At a point they said they were also meeting at 4 Point by Sheraton and the like, when we were angry with American government that there are official means of communication. You needn't go on air to say all those. There are government security agencies, you could do all those too. Now listen, it also means that the protagonists and the strategists and the sponsors of terrorism are not in the bush.
They are in five-star hotels. They are in government.
So they can be
They are in
everywhere.
parliament. They needn't be in all those places. Those places you are talking of, they are meant for foot soldiers.
Wonderful. Mutar from Kaduna, good morning. I think I took that too far. I just wanted
I
to
hope
say that.
you understand
Yes,
that.
I do understand.
Now, that simply means that what the government need to do is all the institutions that are meant to fight against terrorism should be strengthened. Well strengthened. And the bad eggs should be fished out.
Do we
Then
think you
the
have
government-
enough personnel to handle that?
No, in contemporary security, personnel is not a problem.
Okay.
Because what we have now is technological warfare. That's just it. All you need are enough equipment and firearms and the like to be able to fight against insurgents. Aleppo that we are talking about, how many personnel fought in Aleppo?
Aleppo.
The grand soldiers came only after the airstrike has
airstrike.
been concluded.
Okay, let me
that
take-
was when the grand soldiers came.
Okay, I have Bola Kale from Ikeja. Good morning, Bola Kale.
Yeah, good morning, Dapo, and the gentleman in the studio.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I just want to check in one thing.
Okay.
Insurgency war is more of ideological war. And I think there's a particular issue the northern leader have to come together and address. Specifically, the issue of this Almajiri ideology. You know, it's more of a social class war in the north. It is only in the north you can easily identify the rich from the poor. Unlike the south here or in the southwest here, where if you see a person, you hardly identify if this one belongs to the lower class or upper class.
Yes.
So unless they address the issue of that Almajiri, it is is a thing in our society whereby an individual can control the minds of 1,000 people. I've once lived in the north and know how it has happened. I need that I can wake up in the morning and give match order to 1,000 people to go attack his enemy. These guys are ready to go. That's just my taking.
Thank you so much, Bola Kale. That takes us to the other discussion, really, because the Almajiri factor is another factor. And we have the IDPs also. And what happens to the places that they've left, the people they've left? Are they going to be misplaced people in their own land? Will that not bring back the memory? Because they said, he that is down, he fear no fall. And because Shetima said $4.1 million, that's 13 billion naira, has been earmarked to rebuild the northeastern part of Nigeria. If they want to rebuild, are they going to be rebuilding structure alone, or they should rebuilding the people?
Well, for me,
Can I quickly take George?
Okay.
And don't forget the question, please. Good morning, George. You're calling from Ikeja.
That's for compliments of the season.
Same to you, George.
Well, what I want to say, therefore, is that it's very good that the military set a target on Sambisa forest, and they seem to have met the target. I would want to advise the president to adopt the same strategy to deal with the National Assembly and some elements in his administration who are trying to bring down this government. It is not as if he does not know. He should do the same thing, set a target to deal with them before they bring him down.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Ofeyeton said something that caught my attention. He said that there is some rightness in what IPOB and the militants in Niger Delta are doing, and that it is the approach they are using that is faulty.
Faulty.
Well, I have issues with that.
Okay.
What I know is that these agitators are doing a political job. Those in the Niger Delta, for example, we all know that it is the politicians or the crooks who stole our money that don't want to be probed that are using them to intimidate the government.
All right, then.
The same thing goes for the IPOB.
Okay. So that's
We
your
all know
take.
that they were not as pronounced as this,
All
or
right,
they
then.
were not. They didn't have a voice.
So that's what
at
you
the
think,
time
George?
Their so-called brother was there.
Okay. Thank you so much. I have to just let you go. You've made your point, and I'll come back to you, Mr. Adeleke. That will be right after this short break. Don't go anywhere, please. Welcome back. Before we went to that break, I asked Comrade Olurotimi Adeleye a question. And the question again is, it's easier fighting insurgency, but rebuilding should be daunting, or what do you think?
Yes. See, rebuilding itself, like I said earlier, should be holistic. While you are rebuilding, don't just rebuild the structure, rebuild the mentality, rebuild the ideology of people. Like the other caller said, a lot of these Almajiris are people that could be put in the war front with a token, I mean, with a little word from whoever is their master. So we need to really change the orientations of the Northerners that are involved in all of these activities. And when we are saying Northerners now, I said it clearly. You see, governments, not just at federal level, just like Lagos State is doing, so many state governments, particularly the ones across the border. Have you ever thought about our border, policy that is governing all our border lines?
The porous borders.
I mean, there's nothing. At a particular time, I had moved from Ogun State into the Republic of Benin. There were very little or no check. And there are other areas. All of those things are things that we have to look into holistically. Look at what Lagos State government has just done recently. There's virtually all the yellow buses now, including taxis. There's a sticker on them. There's a route for them. So if there's any issue of perhaps that has to do with security, they will ask you which route. Because there's a sticker on all of those buses
so
now.
It's
easier to find out what has happened, where has it happened, which bus, which taxi. All of those are a whole lot of factors that has to be put together. It's not something that we just say, okay, they have bought money. United Nations money to rebuild the
houses.
Not that alone.
Not that.
A whole lot of policies are put together.
Reverend Dominic, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jabo.
Good morning.
Tony has spoken well this morning, extremely well. There's something that baffles my mind. When I voted for President Buhari, the issue of why I voted for him is the Boko Haram and Fulani herdsmen. And we're making a mistake here. We do things we do not know name in Nigeria. There's no herdsman. I'm not a herdsman. There's no man that has 100 cows that will go on his way to kill people and lose 100 cows. That's the pain I have in Nigeria. Why do we call things men that don't have a name? Mr. President today has cows. He's supposed to know how this thing works. How did he sat down and a cow bearer, a man who is from business, is carrying AK-47? It never happens anywhere. This is Boko Haram in this guy. We have defeated them in the name of Boko Haram. But we have got a man named Hesme that consuming all the whole nation. Boko Haram is being done. Today it is Omaya. Today it's Limbise. Today it's Local State. Why could you tackle it? Of the consumers. There's nothing like Boko Haram. The Boko Haram we're seeing today is what we call Hesme. Let me tell you, sir. I went to Dubai and I bought a goods.
Okay.
I went to my hotel. Somebody brought me into that hotel. So as how do you get here? The person that bought goods, give it a truck pusher. At his back is number 489. Every truck pusher in Dubai has a number. But here in Nigeria, look at our Okada people. They robbed me sometime last year. I reported to police. They did nothing. They are found around us here. Most of them are not Northerners. There's one that is my gate here. Ask where they come from. He's not a Hausa man. It's right from Niger. But when in my gate here, there were over 20 this morning, there were over 20 there. Because they come together there with this guy.
Yeah, I understand,
What kind of security do we run in Nigeria?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Reverend Dominic.
Let me just say something very quickly. One of the best things that Fashola did for Lagos State was the banning of Okada, which unfortunately politics brought back. Unfortunately and painfully, politics brought back. Many people didn't understand what Fashola had in mind, that the safety of the state was much more paramount. You are talking of trekking of 100 meters, 200 meters, which also is physically healthy to us. There are the advantages the disadvantages outweigh the advantages, as it were. Is it that of safety? Is it that of health? Is it that of security? There are more of disadvantages compared to the little advantage we had in plying those. Like he said, in short, I've read of several stories of people that will say, I'm going to destination A. And that person, because the Okada knows he doesn't know where he is going, he takes him to another route and it becomes a ritual object. We've read of such stories severally. Or go to Igbobi.
Easy like that,
go to Igbobi. Go to orthopedic hospitals. Then you will understand the disaster. Now the government has been able to say that don't ply major express roads and all those stuff like that. But as far as I'm concerned, if you ask me, I will tell you that outright ban is actually better as it were.
Do you want to add a word to what he said again? The border issue. Okay, do you want to add to that?
Yes.
Before I go to
the beauty of Ambody, His Excellency's governance, is that he was able to say that we have inner roads, we have highways, you know, and all of these things have their own administrative easiness for the pleasure of the citizenry. And that's why he has said that there should be numbering, there should be tag for all of this. Yes. And I think it's not that so well, because recently there's an issue of theft. And you believe me, going through the roads, they were able to fish out. And that is easy administration.
And we need more CCTVs also.
Exactly.
I have a caller from Adamawa. Is it caller? Good morning. Scholar. Good morning, Scholar. Hello, Scholar. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Dapo.
How are you, sir?
How are you?
Wonderful.
Morning to our guest.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Dapo.
Morning, Scholar. I can hear you.
Morning to our guest too.
Morning.
The first guest has spoken everything. The DG security, he has proper solution to all this and to the Boko Haram issue. But my worry is, it's like the government does not hear this your station. Otherwise, all these problems we have been encountering, we wouldn't have been having it.
Say that again.
So thank you very
Scholar,
much.
Okay, what you said, if they had been listening to our station,
yes,
they would have even gotten solutions to all this.
Let me quickly say this, Dapo. There's one more thing that I think, when I was in the primary school, I saw that the government of the day did that, and it worked a little. And that was for every person that is not in Nigeria, that person should have a paper.
He should have a paper.
You must have your document.
I think it's so easy now.
I was in the US.
But I think it should be applicable to all countries except Nigeria.
I'm telling you, I was in the US, and I think I drove with a friend all the way from Missouri down to New York. But on our way, while we were, taking some refreshment, I was accosted by a policeman. So nicely. The first thing the policeman asked me is my passport.
Yeah.
I gave him my passport. I stayed where I was, and he stepped into his car.
He ran it.
He ran it and came back to me. I said, "When are you going back?"
If you had committed something, you direct it somewhere else.
So we should do that here.
We have some
when we have
seconds
foreigners,
to go,
we should be having for their
We should do that. Even Tony,
we know what to do.
But wait, because we had checkpoints. We had toll gates.
Is there any government official that does not travel outside this country?
A lot of foreigners in the country, they don't even have papers.
Is there any government official that doesn't travel out of this country? Can't they see what is happening? The only policy I know that government implements in this country are policies that have to do with raising of money, taxing people, bringing out, squeezing money from people. Every other developmental policies, for goodness sake, Dapo, which type of government do we have?
It's so unfortunate, Tony. On that note, I want to say thank you, gentlemen. Tony Ofoyeto, DG, the Professional Institute, the Institute of International
Institute.
I forgot that initially. Let me say that International Institute of Professional Security. Thank you very much, Tony, and also Comrade Olurotimi Adeleye, former executive secretary, Ifako Jaye, local government area, and is also a public affairs analyst. Thank you, gentlemen, for your contribution today. And that's our package for today. Do join us tomorrow for another interesting episode. My name is Dakpo Aruwajoye. Bye for now. God bless Nigeria.